Is the being beyond observer?
Being is when we talk about not one beyond observer, it is a witness actually. Okay, because some people say, I'll ask a person, "Who are you?" and they'll say, "Well, gee, I don't know. Maybe I am me, whatever." Okay. And then I say, okay, feel out the me. Now, what is awareness? What is pure awareness other than me? And we get confused. But the only way to see that would be the question you've asked. Okay? There is me, but there's also awareness that I am saying there's me. Got it? And that awareness is the being. The me doesn't really exist at all. But there is a felt sense that there is something that says, I am here, and I am aware of this space, but I'm not aware of what you're feeling. I'm only aware of what I am feeling. So therefore, there's a felt sense of my presence. Okay, that is good. And when you stay with that, you'll find it begins to expand more and more and more. You see, and you begin to see that everybody is exactly the same. So it takes on a vaster and vaster field of seeing.
So the inner voice that you can tune into,
Mm-hmm.
is that the observer or is that the being?
That's the being. That's the being. And that it knows. And that knowing is never wrong. That knowing is amazing, because once you get in touch with that knowing, we can call it inner guide or whatever, but that's just words. Inner. Was that?
Course in Miracles calls Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit, right. But that knowing is when you feel it, you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is true. You see? And nobody can convince you otherwise, because it's not a belief. It's unshakable. You see? And the more you trust it, the more you begin to see more and more and more. This is how it is. And when you see how it is, then it begins to take expression in you. And this is the whole point of living from being. And how you do start living from being? Very simple. Always try to formulate your questions. If ever you find yourself unhappy or sad or something is bothering you, form it into a question. And then understand the question. Don't try to seek an answer, because answers are plenty, find them in book, but they never do anything. They're just a bunch of words. Understand the question. What is driving it? Now you might say, but I still don't know, which is of course another question. But as you keep on looking at it, something inside begins to come forward. A feeling. It could happen at night, it could happen in walking, it could be any time. It just starts to come, starts to flower. This is, you know now, I'm getting in touch with that being.
In the Course in Miracles it says that the ego always speaks first, but the Holy Spirit always answers.
Yes,
right?
That's beautiful.
Provided we ask the question.
Yeah, the ego always speaks first.
Right.
Yes, it just jumps immediately. You see something, you judge it. It always speaks first, right? Your conditioning always comes first. But if you take a pause, just a moment, and look at it, the awareness comes, the being comes. But you have to be able to take that pause, that look, that witness, stop and look. And eventually you don't have to stop anymore, because then you begin to know the difference between the real and unreal.
So that pause of stopping is really saying, okay, Holy Spirit, okay, being, what do you think?
Yeah. What does my being? Yeah. It doesn't think, it knows.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me what I need to know.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And then don't wait for it. Just know that it's going to be there.
Right.
When? It's not your business. You see? You just let it happen. And it happens. It just happens. There's never a time when the Holy Spirit doesn't answer. The answer is always there. But we have to be empty enough to receive it. You see? Yeah. Okay.
Can it be good to have a question at night before you go to sleep, and then allow that?
Yes, allow that. Don't answer it. Allow it. Very good. And go to sleep knowing inside, feel that knowing inside that there is an intelligence that knows. And I can trust it. Yeah. And that intelligence is you, of course. You know. Yeah.
I don't know that I articulate actual questions, but I feel heaviness sometimes, and I regard that as a question.
Yes, the heaviness is a question.
And I think before I go to sleep, it's been very useful just lately, just the last few days actually, to just try to get to the root sort of the heaviness. I try to find it, you know. Like where is the heaviness and what's it like, and really get in touch with it.
The feeling, sort of.
And it doesn't always, but sometimes it gives way to something that's not heavy at all. You know.
Yes.
And so I guess that's just more of a feeling way rather than a thinking.
If you go to the source of anything, you get to being. Same way. Yes. You can either surrender to it and the answer will come at its own time, or you can go back to the source of it and then you begin to get a feeling knowing. You see? It comes slowly and then it keeps building up. See?
It's not a method though.
No, it's not a method.
It's not something that
No.
works or doesn't work. It's just
No.
something I've observed.
Yeah.
So heaviness and questions are all the body and the individual I.
Yes, they're all in the individual I, the personal I, yeah. Yeah,
And,
that's all it is actually.
So it's
See, the personal I, there's no beauty to it.
Yeah, so it's just it's condensing all the time. And
Condensing,
and
accumulating.
Is allowing is dissipating the heaviness and the questions.
So when we ask the questions, actually, we are creating a space. We're creating a space so that it can move, the energy can move. Right. And the point is, don't expect an answer. Just understand the question. Begin to feel, you know. There's a part in you that is restless, that wants to know, I'm not sure, uncertain. So, and what is that part? And just feel it. It's a heaviness. Just feel it inside you.
Well, we actually express
Go-
it
go
in
to the source.
language. I've got something on my mind. That's the way.
Yeah, that's the way.
From the mind.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And we say lighten up.
Yeah, lighten up. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, when we begin to talk about human being, there is no end to it, and it's so simple. Yeah.
It's in some ways, it seems that spaciousness, which is nothing, is the answer, if you want to say answer.
Is the answer.
Because the question is dissolved
Mm-hmm.
in the spaciousness that allows the faith of the greater intelligence to just make it back into the whole rather than the part it had been condensed into. So the spaciousness seems to
It dissolves the limitation,
it
the
dissolves
contraction.
the limitation,
Yeah.
and there's no
Mhm.
need for an answer to the contraction because it has joined the one again.
Absolutely, which is which is the love, the true love. Yeah, yeah. And all the time we need to go back to that all the time. Yeah. And sometimes we get very scared when there is no personal I, because we really believe there is. Because one of the great shocks is when you realize I'm a human being, is that, my goodness, I've been living a lie. And I never knew it, you know. I'm really a being playing this role of human. And it's a shock, but that shock is transforming. So, yeah. And I am love, really. All I ever wanted was to be appreciated, to be recognized, to be patted on my back, to be told I'm great. Why? Because I want to feel loved.